Hello, fourth grade. It's Mrs. Kocheba, and I have spent all morning trying to teach Ace how to do fractions. And that did not go very well, so I figured that I would try and help you guys work on some problems that we have done in the last few weeks in class. So to start, I chose these equations to work with you because I felt like in class, they were the ones that I had the most people ask me about or kind of need clarification on. However, if you are working with your parents or you're working independently and you're finding that you need a little more assistance on other problems, feel free to email those to me and I can kind of help you on a more one-on-one basis while we're dealing with this situation virtually. And I miss seeing all of your faces in class. I hope you're getting lots of family time and staying healthy. Okay, well, let's dig right in. And at first I want to apologize. I had the screen set as a presentation so that it would fill your entire screen, but for some reason it would not allow me to write and work out the problems that way. So hopefully this will work for us. Okay, so let's look at number 1. We're going to write the mixed number as a fraction. And we've been doing this in class quite often, but I kind of just wanted to jump on and give you a good review of this. And first of all, I want you to think of this 2 4/5 as a mixed number. That's what, we've talked about and identified as the vocabulary term for this. However, think about it as the sum of that whole number and the fraction. So what you could do is you could even think of a story, like if we're dealing with pies. I love dessert. So let's talk about pies. And you're basically saying you have, that's a terrible pie. You have 2 pies, okay, 2 whole pies, and then you have another pie, okay, 2 whole pies, and all the pies are going to be split into 5 pieces, right? Okay, pies probably was not the best use here because it's a circle. So let me do candy bars. Okay. So also another terrible candy bar. Okay, there's our 2 whole candy bars and then our last candy bar. Let's pretend that these are equivalent candy bars. Okay, and then we're going to divide them into fifths. I'm going to do it as best I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, again, work with me here. Pretend that these are equivalent. Okay, basically I'm saying, hey, I have 2 whole candy bars. All right, and then on the next candy bar, I have 4 fifths. And let's just say that 2 4/5 of the candy bar have nuts on it, okay? All right, so think about it as the sum of the whole and the fraction. So if I want to convert this to a fraction, and I like to call it an improper fraction, and I think you've heard me speak that in class quite often because that's the way I learned it in school. Basically, an improper fraction where you're dealing with the numerator being larger than the denominator, causing it to be more than a whole, right? So if I want to convert this into a fraction, I like to call it improper fraction, there's a couple ways that you can do this, okay? And my old school way, the way that I learned it in class growing up, and probably I would venture to say maybe your parents learned this as well. Back in the day, my teacher used to tell me, hey, you take the whole number, right, the 2, and you multiply it by the denominator because that's how many pieces that those wholes are broken into. So 2 times 5, 10. And then you add the pieces over here, the 4, the numerator, okay? So you would get 14 fifths, right? And if we counted that up, we would see that that is correct. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 fifths. Okay, so that is one way of doing it. That's the way I learned. That's the way that your parents might be trying to homeschool you this week on. However, there's another way that you could think about this, and we've practiced this in class, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do the other way, and you kind of determine what's going to work best for you, what clicks with you in your mind. And, perhaps on some problems, it's going to be this method. Perhaps on other problems, it's going to be the alternative method. So I'm going to show you that now. I'm going to erase this. Bear with me here. Okay, Now, let me catch my bearings here. Okay, so you could think about it like this, right? We have two wholes, so basically we're saying 1 plus 1 plus 4/5. I apologize, my writing is not great on this. Okay, now think about it. What is a whole if I'm dealing with something that's broken into fifths, right? It would be 5/5, right? If my pie or my candy bar was broken into 5 pieces, to have the whole candy bar, I would need 5 pieces out of 5 pieces. So you're basically saying 5/5 plus 5/5 plus 4/5. Again, this handwriting is atrocious. Okay. And then you just add the numerators because you're dealing with a like denominator. So you can say 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 4 more is 14/5. Okay, you're still coming to the same conclusion. You're still getting the same answer. All right, so you decide which method is going to work for you, and you can stick with that, or you can use either method. All right, so just to give another example, let's try another one. Okay, let's skip around. Let's do number 3. Stick with our odd numbers, okay? All right, so we're dealing with 1 and 1/2. And again, think of this as 1 plus 1/2, okay? And I'll kind of stick with the method that I just did. We could say, okay, 1 and 1/2. Well, if I'm dealing with a pie, okay, and it's cut into 2 pieces, to have a whole, I would need to have 2 out of 2 pieces. So basically, you're saying 1 is 2 halves. And then you're going to add the other half, and therefore you have 3 halves. Okay? So there's the method that we just used for number 1. I'm going to go back and show you the method that I used to learn. Let me erase. Okay, I'm basically saying I have 1 whole. Okay, that is split into 2 pieces, so 1 times 2 is 2. And then I have 1 more piece over here from the other pie, and that equals 3. So that means I have 3 halves. Okay, so you're still going to come to the same answer, and whatever method is going to make the most sense for you is what I encourage. All right, so I want you to try on your own. Try number 2. Change 1 3/4. And try number 5. Okay? So try those on your own. I don't need you to print it out or anything like that. You could just use that as a practice, and if you would like, you can send me a picture. You can post it on Dojo or have your parents email me a picture of you solving these problems, but that's not required. If you're having difficulty or you want further explanation, please let me know and I will be glad to help you. I'll be sending another video about how to subtract fractions in a little bit. All right, I hope you guys are doing great and having lots of fun at home. I will talk to you soon.